of devotion is specifically presented for persons who are now engaged in the Krishna consciousness movement. I beg to offer my sincere thanks to all my friends and disciples who are helping me to...
That's all. So, next page.
Auspiciousness. Lord Sri Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the cause of all causes, the reservoir of all rasas, or relationships, which are called neutrality, or passive adoration, servitorship, friendship, parenthood, conjugal love, comedy, compassion, fear, chivalry, ghastliness, wonder, and devastation. He is the supreme attractive form, and by his universal and transcendental attractive features, he has captivated all the gopīs, headed by Taraka, Palika, Shyama, Lalita, and ultimately Srimati Radharani. Let his lordship's grace be on us, so that there may not be any hindrance in the execution of this duty of writing the nectar of devotion, impelled by his divine grace, Sri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada.
So, Krishna is described as akhila-rasāmṛta Sindhu. So there are different rasas, 5 primary rasas. Rasa means the mellow or the taste which we enjoy in every activity. That is called rasa. Everything is done with some taste. Whatever you do, you must enjoy some taste out of it. So there are 12 rasas, out of which 5 rasas are primary and 7 rasas are secondary. They are described here. When Krishna was fighting with Bhīṣma, you know the story that Bhīṣma was criticized by Duryodhana. My dear grandfather, you are not fighting in full strength with Arjuna, because on the other side they are your grandsons and you have got very natural affection for them. So I think you are not fighting according to your strength, otherwise they would have been finished by this time. So, and Bhīṣma also could understand that, his criticism. Then he promised immediately that tomorrow I shall finish all these 5 brothers. Will that be happy for you? So, I am keeping 5 arrows to be used tomorrow for killing these 5 brothers. So, Duryodhana became doubtful. So he requested grandfather, my dear grandfather, may I keep these 5 arrows with me so that you can take it from me tomorrow and use it? All right, you keep it. So Krishna could understand that now Bhīṣma has promised to kill the Pandavas tomorrow, and he has selected 5 arrows for them. So he has to protect his devotees. Now he asked Arjuna that Duryodhana sometimes promised to give you some benediction. Now it is the opportunity. You go there to Duryodhana and he has kept 5 arrows very carefully, you take it there. So Arjuna went to Duryodhana because after fighting in the evening they were friends. There was no enmity. One man can go to the other camp as friend, brothers. So when Arjuna arrived to Duryodhana, Duryodhana received him, that is Vedic etiquette. Arjuna, why you have come? You ask something from me, I am ready to give you. If you want the kingdom without fighting, if you have come for this purpose, I will give you. So Arjuna said, no, my dear brother, I have not come for that purpose. But you remember that you wanted to give me some benediction, so I have come for that. Yes, I am prepared. So give me those 5 arrows. Immediately delivered. So next morning when Bhīṣma asked that, where are those 5 arrows? Give me. So Duryodhana said, sir, this is the story. It has been taken away by Arjuna. So he could understand it is the trick of Krishna. So immediately he, out of devotion, became angry. Yes. So devotional service can be executed in anger also, not by simply flowers. If there is a devotee, he can serve Krishna by becoming angry. So he promised immediately that today Krishna has to break his promise, because Krishna promised that although I shall be in the battlefield, I shall simply drive your chariot, but I shall not fight. That was his promise. Now Bhīṣma said that Krishna has broken my promise, so I shall fight in this way today, that either Krishna has to break his own promise or his friend Arjuna will be killed. 2 alternate. So when Bhīṣma was fighting very fiercely, severely, Arjuna's chariot became broken and he fell down. At that time Krishna took one of the wheels of the chariot and immediately approached Bhīṣma. And when he was approaching Bhīṣma, Bhīṣma was also piercing his body with arrows. And Krishna was accepting the arrows more lovable than the flowers. This is the dealing. Therefore, that is a rasa, ghastly rasa. Apparently, it appears to be very severe, that Krishna is being pierced by the arrows, but Krishna was feeling pleasure. Sir, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has explained this portion very nicely, that he has given the example of kissing. Sometimes there is hard pressure of the teeth, but still it is pleasure. He has given this example, that although Krishna was being pierced by the arrows of Bhīṣma, still Krishna felt very pleasing. And Bhīṣma also, when he was on his deathbed, he wanted to see that form of Krishna when he was very angry and approaching before him to kill him in the battlefield. He explained that feature. So, we can enjoy Krishna's loving service in so many ways, not only by the embrace of the gopīs, but in the fight of Bhīṣma with Krishna and piercing his body with arrows. Therefore Krishna is akhila-rasāmṛta. Any one rasa, there are 12 rasas, either primary rasa or secondary rasa. Any rasa, Krishna is ready to respond to any rasa, you want to deal with Krishna. That is Krishna's position. Kāmāt, krodhād, bhayāt, dveṣāt. So, what to speak of those who are loving. Just like Pūtanā. Pūtanā wanted to kill Krishna. That was her purpose. But when Pūtanā was killed by sucking the breast and life both, then Pūtanā was given the position of Krishna's mother. Because Krishna took it the bright side. Krishna thought that whatever her intention may be, she came to me just like a mother, and I sucked her breast, therefore she is my mother. She came as enemy, but Krishna did not take the inimical side, the motherly side. Tejīyasāṁ doṣāya. Similarly, the gopīs, they came to Krishna out of lust, but out of lust they become purified. Just like the sun soaks the water from urinal, but sun is not polluted, but the urinal becomes sterilized. This is the process. So you try to approach Krishna some way or other, then your life is successful. It doesn't matter. Kāmāt, krodhād, bhayāt, dveṣāt. And what to speak of those who are constantly engaged in love with Krishna. Everything is love. As soon as you divert your attention to Krishna, that is love. It may be perverted. Just like Kṛṣṇa. Kṛṣṇa was always thinking of Krishna. Krishna, he was also Krishna conscious. But he was thinking in terms of killing Krishna as enemy. So this is not bhakti, this is not anukul, pratikul. But still, Krishna is so kind. The Kṛṣṇa was also given liberation. This is the special kindness of Krishna. So any rasa, there are 12 rasas, jīna-tena prakārena manah Krishne nivesat. That is the direction given by Srila Rupa Goswami. Somewhere or other, fix up your mind in Krishna, then your life is successful. Somewhere or other, jīna-tena. So, if your mind is fixed up always in Krishna, then your senses will be also engaged in Krishna's service. Because mind is the center of all activities of the senses. So as Ambarish Maharaj, he first of all engaged his mind in Krishna. Sabai mana Krishna padaravinda. By fixing up his mind in Krishna, then he could use all other senses, namely the tongue. Actually, bhakti begins with the tongue. Sevan mukhehi jivhadau. Beginning from tongue, Krishna bhakti begins. It may be very awkward to hear that by tongue how bhakti begins. But that is the statement in the Shastra. Atha Sri Krishna namadi na bhaved grāhyam indriyai. Our present senses, blunt, materially covered, it cannot test what is Krishna's name, what is Krishna's form, what is Krishna's quality, what is Krishna's pastime, what is Krishna's paraphernalia. The senses, they taste. But just like when one is suffering from liver disease or jaundice, he cannot taste the sugar candy. The sugar candy is sweet, but a jaundice patient, if he is given sugar candy, he will taste it is bitter. Similarly, our senses being covered with material consciousness, we cannot at the present moment taste what is Krishna's form, what is Krishna's name, what is Krishna's quality, what is Krishna's pastime, what is Krishna's paraphernalia, so many things. It is not possible. Atat Sri Krishna namadi na bhavet grāhyam indriyai. Our senses are materially contaminated, therefore we cannot directly perceive by using our present senses what is Krishna. So it has to be purified, just like eyes, when it is suffering from the disease cataract, you cannot see properly. But if by surgical operation the cataract is moved, the eyes become purified, you can see. That is also stated in Brahma Samhita. Premanjana churita bhakti vilochane santa sadaiva hridayeshu vilokane jang sama sundaram achinta gunasarupam govindam adipurusam tamaham bhajan. Premanjana churita. You have to collect the ointment of love for Krishna. And if you apply that ointment on your eyes, then just like we use surma for clear vision, similarly, when the love of Krishna surma is applied on the eyes, these eyes, you will see Krishna. This is the process. Sarvopadhi vinirmuktam. You have to get yourself freed from the upadhis, designation. The designation, the sum and substance of designation, this material body. I am this body. I am Hindu. I am Muslim. I am American. I am Indian. All designation of this body. So one has to become free from the contamination of this bodily concept of life. That is called sarvopadhi vinirmukta. Tatparatena nirmalam. When our spiritual body becomes revealed, the material body contamination is washed off. Nirmalam. At that time the senses remain. Senses are there. It is simply covered by the material energies. The senses are there. The living entity is not nirakar. The living entity has got hands, legs, everything. Spiritual. Just like I have got my body, and this body is covered by this heart. And because I have got this hand, this heart has got hand. Otherwise, what from this hand comes? Unless the spirit soul has got hands and legs, how we have got these material hands and legs? Therefore, the conclusion is the spirit soul has form. As Krishna has got form, Sachidananda Vigraha. Similarly, spirit soul, Jivatma, being part and parcel of Krishna, it has got form. That form is also described in the Shastra. Kesagra satabhagasya satadha kulpitasya cha jiva bhaga savigyo. A rough idea of the form of the living entity has been given in the Padma Purana. That is 1/10,000 part of the tip of the hair. Now, perhaps we have no instrument how to measure 1/10,000 part of the tip of the hair, but this is given there. So anyway, because we get information from the Bhagavad Gita that this body, material body, is like a dress. Vāṣāṅsi jirnāni jatha vihāya. As we give up old dress, garment, similarly, when this body becomes useless, we give up this body and accept another new body. Navani Grinnat. This is the transmigration of the soul. The soul is transmigrating from one body to another. That is a fact. But the gross materialists, they cannot see the subtle body. They simply see the gross body. Therefore they say, when this body is finished, this gross body is finished, everything is finished. No, that is not. Within the gross body, there is subtle body, made of mind, intelligence and ego. So that is just like in every day we have got experience. The gross body is lying on the bed, but the subtle body goes out of the bed, out of the room, goes on the top of a hill or somewhere, it works. That is our practical experience. Similarly, when this gross body is finished, no more usable, the subtle body carries the soul to another womb of the mother. Karmana daiva netrena jantar deho upapatte. Through the semina of the father, the living entity is injected within the womb of the mother, and the two secretion becomes emulsified, and it becomes just like a small pea, and within that pea the soul is there and it develops. This is the process of transmigration of the soul from one body to another. So soul has got form, it is not formless. Similarly, Krishna has got also form, but that form is different from this form. When in the Shastra it is said, Nirakar means Nirakrita Akar. This Akar, this form is being nullified. Nirakar does not mean there is no Akar. This body, when it is said Nirakar, that means the soul, the super soul or the soul has no this Akar as we see. Just like we are seeing some dog or some cat or some hawk, some tree, some plants, so many, 8,400,000 forms. But this is not the form. Nirakarat. Not this form. The soul has got a different form. That is described. Kṛṣṇa satabhāgasa satadhā kalpitasya. We cannot see at the present moment. So as we cannot see you, I am not seeing you, you are not seeing me. Just like a man's son dies or father dies, he cries, "Oh, my father is gone, my father is gone." Where is your father gone? Your father is lying on this floor. Why do you say the father is gone? No, he is gone, he is no more. That means this thing which has gone, he has never seen. He has seen simply this outward body, dress. This is called ignorance. I am not seeing you. Still, I am speaking that I see you. See, if I cannot see you, the part and parcel of God, how can I see God with these eyes? Therefore Shastra says, atasya Krishna namadi na bhaved grahyam indriyai sevan mukhi jivhado sameva smrata. You cannot see God, you cannot see Krishna by your these blunt senses. But if you purify your senses, sevan mukhi jivhado, that purification begins from tongue. That purification, sevan-mukhi jivhad. So, by the tongue we can do two things. We can taste foodstuff and we can vibrate sound. So if you engage your tongue for vibrating this transcendental sound, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, and do not take anything except prasadam of Krishna, then your spiritual life immediately begins. Sevan-mukhi jivhado sarameva. Then gradually, as you advance in spiritual life, Krishna reveals himself to you. Here I am. You cannot see Krishna, but by being satisfied with your service, Krishna sees you. Just like you cannot see sun at night, but when the sun sees you, you can see the sun and yourself both. Similarly, when Krishna sees you, being satisfied with your service, then you can see Krishna, you can see yourself, and you can see the whole world. Now whatever you are seeing, this is all illusion. You are not seeing, or we are not seeing, because our senses are blunt to see things as they are. Therefore in the Bhagavad Gita it is said that Vidya vinaya sampanne brahmane govi hastini suniche cha sapake cha pandita samadarshina. One who has got the eyes to see, he does not see that here is a learned Brahmin and here is a dog. He sees both the learned Brahmin and the dog in equal vision because he does not see the dress. He sees the spirit soul within the Brahmin and within the dog. That is called Brahma Darsana. Sama sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhakti lavate param. When one has got that vision, transcendental vision, sama sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhakti, then the devotional service begins. Not that with blunt eyes and senses one can serve God, devotional service. Atasya Krishna namadi nabhavet garyam indriyai sevan-mukhi jivhado sameva smrata. This is the process. So, when our senses are engaged in the service of the Lord, sarvopadhi vinirmuktam tatparatena nirmalam, when our senses become purified, rishikena rishikesa sevanam bhaktiruchyate. At that time, the rishik, the senses, are engaged in the service of the Lord. Because Krishna is spirit, the super soul. He cannot be served by matter. He has to be served with spirit. Therefore, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, patram puspam phalam tuyam jumi bhakta prajachyate. This bhakti is spiritual activity. Because Krishna says bhaktya prajachyate. If you offer something, Krishna have brought a very palatable dish, you take it. Krishna will not take it. Nahang prakasa sarvasya yogumaya samāvrita. He is not exposed to everyone. It is not possible. You cannot serve Krishna if you are not a devotee. Therefore Krishna says, Jo me bhakta prajacchati. That is the real thing, bhakta. Not that I have brought a nice plate and Krishna will accept. Not like that. Krishna can accept. When you offer something, it doesn't matter what it is. It may be a simple flower, a fruit, a small piece of leaf or little water. This is universal. For worshipping Krishna, there is no impediment. If you want to worship other demigods, there are so many things required. But for worshipping Krishna, the poorest man in the world, any part of the world, he can offer his love, his offering to Krishna. Patram puspam phalam tuyam jumi bhaktya prajacchati. So, real purpose of this Bhakti-rasāmṛta Sindhu by Rupa Goswami, which I have translated by the name Nectar of Devotion, the complete science of Bhakti Yoga. This is very important book of understanding how to become purified in devotion and service, how to approach Krishna, how to satisfy Krishna. These things are described very nice. And Krishna being supreme, the super soul, we cannot approach with our material consciousness. Therefore the consciousness has to be changed. Then we can approach Krishna. That is Krishna consciousness moment. Unless we change our consciousness, just like without being fire, you cannot enter into fire. And the Shastra says, without being Brahma, you cannot approach Brahma. Similarly, without being purified of all material contamination, you cannot approach Krishna. Rishikena Rishikesa, what kind of Rishik? Senses. Sarvapadhi vininmuktam tatparatena nirmalam. The senses are to be purified. Tatparatena. Tatparatena means being always attached with Krishna. If you simply see Krishna with your eyes, then your eyes will be purified and spiritualized. Because you are touching, just like if you keep yourself always in touch with fire, you become warm. Warmer. If you put one iron rod in the fire, it becomes warmer, and at last it becomes red hot. When it is red hot, it is fire. It is no more iron rod. You touch that red hot iron, anywhere it will burn. Similarly, if you keep always in touch with Krishna, you become Krishnaized. And you can appreciate what is Krishna. Thank you very much.